Hey everyone, it's early morning. Well, for me, I'm starting work at 12:30, so I thought I'd do a little video before I got on and got started. 10, so it's not like super early, but I have pretty much just woke up. But I thought I'll get a review in now, and that way I don't have to worry about it being like really dark when I get home. So might have seen a video that I did about getting this. It's a Gundam. It's the Red Frame Astray, or Gundam Astray Red Frame flight unit. Um, and I've read up a bit about this. It comes from one of the mangas, or a series of manga, instead of like a cartoon or anything. Um, Loads of pictures in the box, um, loads of details about it. I guess that's the little guy that drives the Gundam. And it looks nice on the box. I mean, oh my, that's a pretty good selling point. And then you've got your pictures on the sides there. These are all like painted up by a pro. I think this one on there shows you what it should look like out of the box. And it doesn't come with a stand. It does show you the stickers that it comes with there, and you get an idea of all the different weapons and stuff that you get. I think this one was about £15. It might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less. But you get that box, and then inside the box, you get your manual there, which is relatively big. Like I got one before this, and it didn't actually have as many pages, even though it seemed like a more complicated build. Particularly once I had actually got into building it, and then building this one was really quite easy. Um, it comes on. I'll move these out of the way here. Comes on a load of plastic sprues, and they're all numbered, well lettered. You see that one's H, that one is G, and so on and so forth. And you can see they're different plastic colours. These are the poly caps, basically little bits that go on and make the joints work. So you've got bits that you can fit like ball joints and stuff into. What's that for? Oh, a little bit that I forgot to take out. You get a couple different hands and stuff. So there's some hands there, and I've got the covers for the back of the hands on here. You basically just snippy snip snip all the bits off. Manual tells you what bits you need at what point, and there are bits where it'll say, oh, make sure you put this a bit in. It's all like just numbers and letters basically in the manual, and it shows you what bit goes into what. There are some relatively obscure symbols. I think the ones for the polycaps where it's got like two little lines coming out of it, that means it must go in this way. Make sure you put it in this way. And then there's one that it means that there's stickers, and I'm not sure about some of the other ones. That's them all there. I mean, times two, fairly straightforward. Um, I think that one means that you've got glue stuff, but you see it's greyed out because you don't have to glue anything on this kit. Yeah, I'm not sure what all of them mean. There's one that means you can put this bit in either way, on either side, so for the legs or the arms or whatever. There's one that means you can only put it in one way. I don't know which was which, but I've not had any problems building them. You also get a couple of sheets of stickers there. Let's get these out and have a nosy at them. You can see I've not used any of the stickers, although they are nice and shiny for the sword there, and yeah, that one's different colour. It's orange there. I haven't done the orange. I've just done the gold. Um, there's little stickers for the eyes, and like the cameras and the sights on the guns. And yeah, I mean most of it's just small details. And you've got a couple little stickers there, which I believe are the markings for the shoulder and the shield, just to tell you who the pilot is and things, basically. Um, but I didn't do any of that. I just went and painted him up. I bought some Gundam markers, and I got a brush and some thinner. Uh, yeah, I'm probably going to have to touch up a couple of these bits, but here it is, all completed. So you've got your main body of the guy. He's got a big giant sword. He's got a shield with a gun that peg into his flight pack. And I didn't really have to paint an awful lot on this. I did the eyes and I did the little camera bit up at the top, and then I did the red bits on the ends of, on the back of his lower arms. Um, the arm shins. I don't know what the word is for it. And then I painted little white bits here and around the side and on the back there. And I painted the white on the back of the flight unit. And then I did quite a bit of paint on the sword because come on, swordy. Sword, when you get it, pretty much all white. It's all white apart from there's a little red bit that goes on the end here. Oh, this is the scabbard, but you know what I mean. And rather than putting loads of stickers and stuff on it, I thought, alright, I'll paint it up. Um, and I painted all the red on. I had to wipe a load of it off because I went a bit overboard. The paint's good, but it does run a little bit sometimes, and the pens I've got are quite thick. I haven't got the ultra fine ones, so going into like the little bits there, the little channels, yeah, that was somewhat messy. But then I went over the gold, and that was it. Actually, that was all I've had to do. The sword, similar. It's all grey when it comes. I just painted the end, the handle silver, no, handle gold, and then I've got this grey paint, sort of gunmetal grey, sort of metallic. I don't know. It's obviously meant to be a lot shinier and lighter than that, so I might end up doing that again. But it looks pretty good. Don't know if that's some of the paint coming off or if I just didn't paint it properly. He's got this thing in his hand, which looks like a robot dog's head, and that is a weapon. This is where those pink bits came off. Plug those in. I'll just take it off then and do it that way. So they plug in there, and you can slide the bit that you've got the hand in. You can slide that back in. This was probably the most difficult bit to understand in the instructions as to what exactly it was going on about when it had a picture of the handle sliding in, because there's quite a few different sort of little bits that it looks like it could connect onto, and if that optional bit is the worst and most confusing bit of the instructions, probably pretty good. So you can have that, you can have a little bit of Darth Maul dog head going on. If you want to take the weapon off, just unplug the wrist. Oh, I painted the fingers as well. Shows them painted on the booklet. Now to swap the weapons out, you just pull the back of the hand off and pull the weapon out, and then you put the hand back on. So it looks like a proper hand, but it's like the front of the hand and the back of the hand. I thought that was quite clever. I don't know if I'm not going to show you all his guns up and stuff. he's got. I'll show you what weapons he does have. There's the sword, obviously plugs in on the side there, and oh, how does this work? Right, well that unpegs, and that's there. And this bit, so you get a little adapter bit that plugs on to his arm, and then you can attach the shield on. The shield's pretty cool. This is 3 different pieces of plastic there, so you don't have to do any colouring or anything. And you can put it on the side or you can put it on the bottom of the arm. And you've got the gun. The gun actually fits in fairly well without popping the hands off. Um, just give it a little bit of a shuggle and it goes in. And so that's him there. He looks relatively badass with that. You can pop the shield on to the other side. And the shield's got a little bit of a joint on it. It can swivel a little bit up and down the way. And you probably see, just as I'm messing with this, he's really, really posable. I'm going to take the flight pack off, although before I do, you can move the wings up and down a little bit, and you can turn them so that they face a different direction. You also move these. These are on a little ball joint, so there's not a whole lot of left and right movement on them, and there's a little bit of up and down, but you can also twist them if you want to make it look like he's taking a big leap sideways. Um, it just pegs in on the back, and there's a little bit that goes into his actual backpack, which quite ingeniously slide up. And I painted the two little bits, the two little red bits at the top there. I painted them white first, and then went over the red, just because the red when I first put it on flat didn't show up, and I painted his little bits on his bum red as well. Just bits that would have needed stickers otherwise. The manual shows this bit all painted like white and red bits showing through. I think that's fine as it is. One thing I did do is panel line it. Get a little thin pen and just go into all the little cracks and crevices, and just bring out a lot of the detail. And I think it works really well, especially on the round bits inside his arms there. It doesn't show up very well on camera, but there and on the head, and even the little bits on his thighs, those are individual bits that plug into the main bit of the front of the thigh. I thought that was unnecessarily fiddly, but they were actually quite easy to go in, and yeah, it looks nice. Now, as far as articulation goes, he's got a ball joint on his head. There's not a huge range of movement, but you can, like, it's pretty tight, so you can pose him and he's going to hold the pose, which is really quite good. The bits at the shoulders, there's bits at the actual shoulders inside, which move left and right and up and down. Then the shoulders themselves are on a swivel there, and you can sort of move them up and down the way. You can bring the arms right up like that inside. They have a swivel as well. And then he has he has one elbow joint that goes to there, and he has another one that brings almost like a full, like 180-ish. So really quite posable. Hands are both on ball joints. He has waist ball jointy things going on, so you can get a bit of an ab crunch, and you can swivel them around. These little side skirts are probably the worst part of the toy. They're on little ball joints, and so you can maneuver them a little bit, but they like to pop off. I think it's just because the place that they pop into is not super tight. It's probably a good thing, because you don't want to break things, but now he's got a little, nope, there we go, a little bit of movement in his actual hips, and then the hips are on, well, it's not a ball joint, it's like a universal joint, so they go out all the way, back and forth all the way, and then the thighs have got a swivel, and then the knees bend there, and then there. So you get full like double jointed knee action. And then the feet are on little ball joints. It's like a double ball joint. It's like a piece that's got a ball joint into there, and then a piece that's got a ball joint into there. So there's a lot of range of movement in those. Plus the insides of the ankles or inside the feet are cut out, so you can give them some big, like wide-legged stance. Um, as well as these guns and this sword, he also has beam sabers, which is basically a lightsaber. Um, I haven't cut these bits off yet, but the plug in there. There you go. I mean, he's got a giant samurai sword. If I'm giving him a sword pose, I'm probably going to use that. So I don't know if I'll cut those off or not. I have got a lot of, well, not a lot of, but I've got other Gundams that I understand do not come with the beam saber blades, even though they come with the beam saber parts, like the handles. So those might come in handy for that. As it is though, like I did this in one night, this and the sword, all in one night. It took maybe 4 hours or so, maybe a little bit longer, just the time to dry the paint and things. Um, and then I did all this like late last night, just as I was just sitting about, basically, watching some Gundam anime, some Gundam Seed, and it didn't task me at all. There's there's work to be done. I'm not perfect at doing these yet, but I certainly enjoyed this one and felt like I'd done a really good job of it, especially compared to the first one that I have through another room. It didn't it didn't work quite as well for me, but then I think doing the backpack here, the darker plastic, the red and the white plastic cut off really well, but the black plastic, even the grey plastic's okay, but the black plastic is a little bit more obvious when you cut stuff off it. There, you can usually see, even if you sand down or scrape off the excess, you can still usually see that there's been a cut made. I suppose you could go and paint all that if you want to. But this is, I'm just really excited by how good this is and how posable it is. And like I say, it was a lot of fun to put together. It's good that you get that effort, like that reward for the effort. Um, I'm going to have to see about getting a stand, because you might see under there, here's a little hole. You can plug him onto a stand and then I can make him look like he's flying about, get some of that double jointed knee action going on, and have him like on his jetpack flying about and chopping people up with a sword and stuff. So yeah, I'll do a little size comparison. Here is another little swordy guy, uh, Starscream, Generations IDW Starscream. You see, this guy's a lot smaller, but he's a lot more detailed. No, we're not hugely more detailed, but the detail that's there is a little bit nicer and more stand out. Um, Obviously, this is to transform, and this is like a 10. Well, this is the same price basically. Um, you get more posability on this, a little bit, and it looks like there's more in it, and there probably is. Like, what's the weight? Yeah, this is clearly heavier. So I don't know if I would definitely recommend. I wouldn't say it's better than Transformers. It's very different from Transformers. But if you like the look of any Gundams, have a look at reviews online and see if there's any flaws in the design or anything that put you off. There was a couple that I'd looked at and I thought, I'll maybe not get that to begin with. It looks a bit complicated or it's got fragile bits. Um, this one, it seemed to be a fairly good toy once it was built up, and all the weapon options really helped sell me on it. Uh, it's for the price of a deluxe. Okay, it's smaller and it's slighter, but it looks more. It looks more expensive, and you get the fun of building it up. I mean, it's not complicated. You wouldn't have to paint it. Like it wouldn't look quite as nice, but that's pretty obvious. It would look probably as good as a mass market transformer. I mean, you've got all that detail molded in. The hands looked fine in just red, but I was doing white stuff anyway, so I thought I'll just paint up the rest of him. And yeah, the head is the main place I would say needs the panel lining, and that it's not essential. You know, it would still look okay. I thought it's easy enough to do. Pen onto the things, and then I had a little cotton bud and just screwed it, wiped all the excess off. In some places I'm maybe going to go over again, just make it a little bit darker, like in the vents and stuff. Um, yeah, I can't wait to get more of these and build more of them. I've got the unicorn, the proper one instead of the banshee. Um, and yeah, I'm going to build this up, but I'm going to some sort of comic show at the weekend. MMC Expo in Glasgow, something like that. And yeah, I'm hoping that they'll have some Gundam kits that I can pick up a couple and not have to wait ages for delivery. I didn't have to wait ages. I had to wait a couple of weeks or a week and a half or something. But it seemed like ages. And if I can get some in hand without having to wait ages, then I don't mind if I'm paying a little bit extra on what the prices are online. I can get these sort of size guys for the high grade ones for about 15, um, 10 to 20 pounds, I would say, because you get some of them that are a lot cheaper. I mean, this one I think is going on Amazon at the moment for 11 quid. I would say get this for 11 quid. If you don't like it, fair enough. You don't like it, send it to me. Um, but yeah, they're about 10 to 20 quid. There's some that are more expensive. You get special editions and stuff of them. Um, then you get the higher, well, these are high grade. You get the master grade ones, which are a bigger scale. These are 1 to 144. You get 1 to 100, and you get 1 to 160 or 1 to 60 as well, which I guess are ginormous and far too expensive and out of scale with anything else. Especially something like this where they are built to scale. I think the more of them that I can get in the high grade size, the better. You also get something called real grades, which are same size as these, but a lot more detailed. They have, like, this one's got a lot of inside bits that you build up, but the real grade ones, you pretty much build the skeleton and then put all the little armor bits on top of it. And they have like open cockpits, and you can see the man that's, well, you could in theory see the man that's driving them if there was a man in there, which there doesn't seem to be in them. But they also come with a little bit more details, different hands and hands that open and things like that. So that would be something I think, having looked at videos of them, I would like, but I'm going to try and get some more of the high grade ones first, just because there's a lot of cool designs of Gundam out there, and there's a couple that I haven't watched some of the anime. I watched Gundam Seed, and having watched that, there's a couple of kits that I want to get now because of the characters or because of how cool they were in the show. It's a long video. If I was in editing, I would definitely cut some of this crap out. But if you're still watching this, thank you, and I will be back soon for more reviews.